You got to stand out.
Yes.
I've always been real estate agents that come to the door, and we've sold houses ourselves before, like as vendors, same as you. Agents that look the part, but you want to become approachable. Yes. What is, the most approachable thing you can see? Some funky socks from someone that they might judge us being agents. They judge us from the outside looking in. Yes. He's serious, he's arrogant, he's this. And then I rock up with Gucci shoes, a custom suit, and I've got flying pigs on my socks. And they think this guy, doesn't take himself too seriously. He's normal. So it normalizes it. It's an icebreaker and it makes you normal.
Josh Tesolin, I know you now for a few years.
Yes.
And I don't know, maybe the world has toughened me up that I don't call many people my friends. My circle is very little.
Yes.
And you definitely have a special place in my circle. And I'm not saying this for the camera. Yes. I actually truly mean it. One thing I can't help myself when I talk to you, every time I see you, is your energy. I've been talking about it from day one. I met you the day you got fired.
Yes.
And even in front of 1,000 people in your conference, which I'm grateful to be invited to speak at, I said in front of 1,000 people, and also when I met you the first day, that your old boss, you need to buy him a Rolex one day because he fired you. Because one day you're going to thank him because he did that.
100%.
Today, few years later, I think 3 years later.
Going on 3.
3 years later, you have your own office.
Yep.
You have extremely good, talented team in your office.
Correct.
Amazing energy. Yours is not too far ahead of them because the boys are phenomenal.
It's true.
They're writing big numbers. You have been #1 real estate agent in every category, starting from Ray White #1 agent, starting from Rate My Agent, starting from realestate.com, starting from any award that anybody can put out there, important or not important, you grab it.
I've won.
Not for your freaking looks. You win because you're fucking extremely good at it.
Yep.
Year after year after year.
Yep.
There's no way to describe it, but you're very fucking special.
Thank you.
Because when you do what you do, you're a normal human being in your own skin. You want to cry at times, you want to scream at times, you want to swear at times, you get tired, you have issues like as a business owner, from here to freaking CBD of Sydney.
Correct.
All of that, still #1.
Still #1.
Constantly.
Every fucking year.
Constantly.
Yeah.
There's no secret. I hate word secret,
Yeah.
But what the fuck it is that makes Josh Tesolin, Josh Tesolin?
What makes Josh Tesolin, Josh Tesolin?
What makes Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan?
We all have a similar trait. Now, I'm not Michael Jordan. However,
but he's not Josh Tesolin either.
He's not. He couldn't do what I do.
I reckon he would kick his ass.
Fucking A. We all want to be... People have money dials. People, in their mind, they either do it for freedom, they either do it for convenience, they either do it because they want to be really rich, they really do it because they want to be really famous, or they want to do it because they want to be #1. I've always been #1 in my own head. And I've always said to myself, in this industry, awards, Ray White, I joined Ray White because they've got the most offices. I didn't join Ray White because they offered me the most money, or I thought that they were necessarily the best brand. I wanted to test myself in a company that had more than 10,000 offices, had big branding, they had good agents, and I knew if I came in and I tested myself against the best, money, as in com. How do you win #1 in Ray White? There's different categories. I could have been #1 in 10 categories. I did the most auctions, I did the most listings, I did the most sales. The coveted one was commission. And I thought to myself,
But that's really what matters as well, because that's how you really judge your results 100%. Based on how much you make.
How much money do you make? And we're in one of those industries. It's crazy. Like, you don't ask a normal person how much do you make and compare it to the next person. But in real estate, it's like, how much do you write? Well, I wrote 7.36. How much did you write? I wrote 5. So I wanted to test myself against the best, and I've always just wanted to be #1. I wanted to be the #1 leader. I wanted to be the #1 boss. I wanted to be the #1 agent. and it ticks my head. I'll do anything to achieve it. So, like a lot of people say, how did you get to Ray White #1, Josh? You know, what did it take?
Because there's some big players at Ray White.
Mate, 100%.
Some players that have been around for many years.
Man, there's riders that, like our average sale price here, we're talking, man, 1 mil, 1.1 if you're lucky. Man, in some areas in the east, in Sydney,
5, 6, 10.
5, 6, 7, 10, 14, 15. And they sell one house and they make fucking 300K. Man, I've got to sell 10 houses to make 300K.
Yes.
So I think I wanted to test myself in that avenue. A lot of people had good belief in me, but I'm one of those people where I will do anything. I won't sleep. I'll work late. My full focus, I can't be the master of 10 things. I can only be the master of one. And the master for me is I want to be the best lister and the best seller. And I know that will equate to commission. I know that will equate to being #1. And I will do anything. I'm hungry. I'm aggressive. I've got so many, I'm like a chameleon. I can do different things to different people. I can adapt to different situations. But at the core of me, I just want to be the best. And why do I want to be the best? For myself, for my family, for my mum. I was never, as well, I'll tell you this, I was never...
By the way, I love your mum.
She's the best. She's a typical ethnic mum.
Love your mum.
She's probably like your mum, you know?
Reminds me,
yes,
very much so.
Very similar. So, like my mum growing up, she always wanted to have a boy. Yes. She said she would have had 10 kids.
But she didn't end up having a boy. She ended up having a crazy fucking boy.
Fucking maniac. So my mum had two girls to start. I got two older sisters, Natalie and Lauren, and they were very academic. Lauren was, 99 in the HSC, the ATAR. You got Natalie, who was HR manager for Etihad and aeroplanes.
And there was a Josh.
It was me. And I never was good at school. I always chased girls and, always didn't want to concentrate. And then I said to myself when I was young, I want to make my mum proud. And not that I was competing against my sisters. I love my sisters. We do different things. But I just wanted to be the best. And then I wanted to be the best in real estate. And I knew that, like, I was into, when you're young, girls, and you're into bodybuilding, and you're into the gym, and you want to look good. And I just gave up everything to be #1 at real estate. And for the last 9 years, it's been my complete and utter goal. And here we are.
I think the difference in this stage now, everything is how you feel, not how you look.
Definitely.
Because, you can, there are real estate agents that look better than two of us 100 times.
Oh, definitely.
But they can't buy a pair of shoes.
Can't buy one pair of shoes.
So rather feel good.
Yes.
You want to compliment, you want to feel good in your own skin and how you look and so on.
Yep.
But I think the way you feel now is a massive difference. But point that I'm trying to make as well is your mindset is bulletproof.
Yes. Kill or be killed.
I always say to people, my brain, I feel like it's a glass of clean water.
Yep.
You put a little bit of dirt in clean water, you're not going to think straight. So I don't let anybody get close to my fucking little glass of water because I need it to be clean. Because cleaner my glass of water is, better I am at anything that I do. I can make better decisions. I can be calm when I need to be. I can be aggressive. Whatever situation is, nothing clouds my mind.
100.
And your mind, because the reality is, you work stupid hours.
The most ridiculous.
So your mind is stronger than your body because realistically, you should pass out every week.
Every day.
Every day.
Yes.
Because you work stupid hours, you don't know when you start, you don't know when you finish. I mean, I watch you on social media, there's the times where you turn the lights off 2 a.m.
Yes.
Or midnight, and actually a few of your boys as well.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so your body tells you, Josh, let me fucking rest.
Yep.
I am dead. I can't go anymore.
Yes.
Your mind say, hey, fuck you, buddy.
Yep.
Get the fuck up.
Yep.
Go continue being #1.
100%.
How do you balance that?
How do you balance
Because most humans hit the point where, you know what, I'm done.
Yep. A lot of agents and a lot of people mentally, they give up and they throw the towel in. I can tell you I push my body to limits. Like 2021, I sold 350 properties in a calendar year. Stupid. Almost a house a day. Unconditional. Done deals. I remember the amount of negotiation, the amount of back and forth, the amount of rescissions.
You wouldn't even remember half of your sellers how they look. If when you sell 350,
My God.
if seller walks past you, hey, how you going, Josh? You'd be like, hi. But
yes. Yep.
Tell me who you are.
100%. I pushed my body to a limit when I literally, during that break of Christmas, like I remember my last unconditional sale was the 30th to go 350. It would have killed me doing 349. So we hit the 350. And then during that period of time, during Christmas, I reckon I slept. I reckon I was awake 2 hours a day for 10 days. Like I was just, my body just went boom. I got sick. I couldn't move out of bed. And I remember I said to myself, like, I know how to push myself to those limits. And then last year I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to go 300 again. 315 during 11 rate rises, during COVID shit. I said to myself, let's go 300 again. And I've set myself another target. Let's go 300 3 years in a row. Ridiculous hours. But I suppose how I do it is your will has got to be better than the want. Everyone wants to be the best, but you've got to, I would say it's 90% mental. We've all, you know, you can obviously, you drink alcohol, you'll feel shit the next day. You know, you drink you eat bad foods for lunch, you're going to feel shit the next day. You're not going to feel a bit sluggish. Everything I do is so calculated to how I can perform my best. Lots of water. I've given up alcohol this year. My hours, like I'm waking up maybe around 9 o'clock, but I'm finishing at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, 7 days a week.
So your hours are still crazy.
My hours are ridiculous, but it's not work. Like for you, my friend, coming to see us and mingling with people and, you know.
To me, nothing is work.
Nothing is work. We got the greatest job on earth.
Yes.
We make truckloads of cash. We get to see people's lives change. We're not a doctor, but we're still changing lives and, you know, doing things which they couldn't do themselves. So yeah, my mindset is bulletproof because I've been through so much when I was younger, through school and failure and back and forth. Nothing can break me. And when you're unbreakable, it's very easy when you're prepared to die to be the best and you're facing a vendor and they say no to you. A lot of people crumble and think this is the end of the world, or they lose a listing. One listing doesn't matter to me. If I lost 50, I'd be concerned. But I just, as I said, I want to be number one that bad every day, and I want to inspire the next generation that no one can beat me.
Even I employ some people that are so fucking talented.
Yes.
But lazy.
Lazy.
Talent is really nothing.
Nothing.
If you don't give all of yourself to it.
You can look good, you can smell good, you can have a great jawline, you can have a great body, you've got a lot of talent naturally, you can connect with people, but if you don't get up every day and you don't do the hours every day and you don't text message your database and you don't do the letterbox drops and you don't show up at the auction and you don't get the reduction and you don't do that 100 times a week and then repeat that every month and don't take holidays and don't see friends and don't see family, you won't be successful. Mate, you'll agree with this. Success is sacrifice. How much are you willing to lose and sacrifice to be the best? That's the difference.
Not many people understand that. Josh, I just turned 44 and somebody said to me, Mil, do you have any kids? I said, I don't. He said, what have you sacrificed for you to be here today?
Yep.
I said, the answer is what you just asked me.
Yep.
I don't have kids.
Yep.
He said, well, what have you done then? I said, what I have created in every surname,
Yep.
Tesolin, in every surname, over 1,000 years, there's going to be a fucking King Charles, king, that's going to change his family for another 20 generations.
Yep.
So what I have made, maybe I'm just fucking crazy, I made a sacrifice that for 100 generations after me, Jurassics would be looked after. My nephew and 2 nieces and another kid coming, my brother's got 3 kids and 1 more coming, they'll look after forever. They're going to have a business they can walk into. More importantly, they can have somebody they can learn from. Obviously, they have their dad, which is my brother, extremely great builder and great dad. But I know I've changed directions. You know, I had 3 uncles that passed away, funerals they couldn't afford it. I can pay for it or whatever it is. So, you know, but for me to say what I have fucking done, sacrifice is not just, oh yeah, work hard. And what else did you do? You know, I work 10 hours a day. For how long? 5 years. Try fucking 25 years. So when somebody sees, hey Josh, you got that nice Porsche or Bentley, but you see every fucking screw on that Bentley, there are probably times where you pissed blood because you push yourself. I have pissed blood. I was throwing up. I thought I had a fucking cancer because blood was coming out of my nose. Why? Because I worked till I passed out. I've slept on my desk because, not because I wanted to, just I would wake myself up by hitting my head on the desk. Sacrifices is unbelievable. So look, you had a best event this country has ever seen, best real estate event ever.
Yep.
And there's so many other amazing events.
Yes.
You had extraordinary speakers. I happen to be, one of lucky people to be on the stage. But you had over 1,000 people.
Yep.
That you are still in your 20s. You
Yeah.
had 1,000 agents, and I had about 20 people from my offices that came to watch you.
Yes.
Over 1,000 people were looking up to you and everything you got to say.
Yep.
And people came, not because just me or anybody else.
Yep.
They came because Josh Tesolin conference.
Yep.
They came there. So impact that you made, but it's quite often I use you to describe people, what it takes to be number one.
Yep, 100%.
But not many people can match it. And one of the things that you have, one of your qualities, you're happy for others.
Oh.
Like me and you got nothing to do with each other in business.
No.
Zero. We don't make money out of each other. We don't work together. We are part of different brands. And I reckon if I had a fucking office right in front of you, me and you will probably go head to head and kill each other out there, but fairly,
Yes.
because you're still so respectful of others.
Of course.
Which is amazing as well. You got a playing field. Last 12 months market in Australia has been one of the most difficult markets in the world.
Crazy.
You made your own market.
Yep.
Like, I was really happy when you only saw 3 out of 7 other days.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny that I'm happy for my friend that he didn't do too well? Reason why I was happy because I knew that you're going to be so angry to push it and get the job done the next minute.
And I did 9 out of 9 the
Do you
next
know what
minute.
I mean? So, but I always say, every time we have something that is holding us back, then we push ourselves and we become even better.
Yep.
In the challenging market,
Yep.
when agents would sell 1 out of 10 homes on auctions,
Yep.
you got 100% clearance rate.
Yep.
In a market where there's no buyers, when the banks are harder on them,
Yep.
when buyers can borrow less,
Yep.
why?
Why? I believe, look, the Sydney market and what happened with inflation, and obviously the rate goes up, interest rate, we had them so long, they're almost free for so long, it had to go up at some stage, people's budgets came down. Now, I believe the way we got through that market, as you said, is we created our own market. We could have easily, and we had auctions, even a couple of weeks ago, I had 8 auctions, I sold 3. Now, sometimes at auction, you don't sell. Sometimes the reserve is too high. Sometimes that's the education vendors need. I think the one barrier for people in life, and I think this is in relationships, friendships, work, business, people don't want to have the crucial conversation. People don't want to talk to the buyer and say, guys, right now, it's not enough. You've got to be here.
People hate the truth.
Tom Panel says it beautifully. I can't shield, and it's what I say to most of my owners, I can't comfort you with lies to shield you from the truth. And the truth of it sometimes is the harsh reality, your property is not worth this anymore. Or buyer, if you don't pay this, you're just not going to own the home. You're going to just keep going back to open homes. So I believe during those tough periods and those tough months, mindset, we could have got down. A lot of agencies in this area, there's been 6 agencies that have closed. Whether or not that's my doing or the market's doing or a combination of both, I feel...
I think you're to blame partially.
I definitely think it's me. But as I said, respectfully, I worked longer. I met more people. I had more conversations. I was more honest with owners. Yes, a lot of properties didn't sell, but a lot of properties did sell. And I think finding the core of why they're selling is the most important. Why are you selling? What do you need to sell? Where are you going? If you don't sell, can you see yourself living here for 5 to 10 more years? No, Josh, I don't like it here anymore. Okay, so right now, what you want and what you get are 2 different things, but what did you buy it for? I bought it for 500,000. And what are you selling it for? 1.2. So I understand you wanted 1.3 or 1.4, but you've got 1.2, you're still $700,000 in the green. You're up. I said, why would you risk trying for more? It's been on the market 6 to 8 weeks. It's not getting more. This is the best offer you've got. Would you risk $700,000 profit and bet that on at a casino on red to try and get an extra 100?
Would you risk really $1.2 million that you got in your hand for $100,000?
A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. And I think a lot of agents got stuck in, I quoted you that and it's worth that. People need to understand as agents, we don't predict price. We influence price. Now, what we do as agents, we create urgency, we create competition. We market hard. We get as many buyers as we can to the home. We negotiate the best sale price to our ability.
But you can't make $3 million property worth $1 million.
Exactly.
Or whatever, it is what it is.
It is, mate, that's the market. How I can influence it, I can give my soul, my energy, I can communicate with the vendor, I can give the buyer the best red carpet treatment you've ever had. Buyers set the market, not us. And a lot of agents get stuck, oh, it's worth that. Sometimes I quote a property 1.1, sells for 1.4. You can't predict shit like this. All I know as an agent, I have to support my vendor. I have to, get my buyer there on the day to bid. I've got to treat everyone respectfully. I've got to give them good energy. No one likes an agent.
But also you have to create the market, and I think that's where you step in.
100%.
Because you have buyer and seller, but you're the one that actually creates the market and the realistic value of the property. 100. Go for the kill. I'll tell you an interesting story. I have one agent. He just touched over $1 million in gross commission.
Amazing.
And he had a conversation with you about a month and so ago, Jason Yang.
Yes, he did. Yes, he called me.
Out of that, and he had a rate about 50% auction rate.
Okay.
And since that conversation, true story.
Yep.
He had about 13 or 14 auctions, 100% clearance rate.
Wow.
And thanks to you, that's his exactly. He said 1 hour with Josh, change it.
Crazy.
Which is massive, So, I think what you just said about telling the truth,
yep.
and people don't want to hear it,
yep.
and people are scared to tell.
People are scared of the reaction. But what's the worst that happens? I still go home at night. They don't take my car.
No, the worst thing happens, you lose a listing.
They withdraw, and there's another one coming.
And you lose a listing, and somebody else might grab it
Man.
and be stronger, educated than you, and actually get the business.
That's it.
Difference between being a real estate agent and business owner. You're not a real estate agent anymore because you've got two jobs.
I do.
The reality is, when you used to be an agent.
Yes.
You walk into an office, you walk out, I'm just Josh Tesolin.
Yes.
One assistant.
Yes.
Behind my back, there's an army of people, including your wife.
32 of them.
Including your wife, including your mom. You got real estate agents that demand attention.
Yes.
They're like, a lot of them, you have to be their friend,
yep.
their boss, the mentor, counsel, and I always say I need counseling myself after listening to your shit, guys. You know what I mean? You have to be everything,
yes.
problem solver, and you don't know everything.
Yep.
We are like humans like them. And then you have to be a real estate agent.
Yes.
Two big different worlds.
Yep.
How do you compare your life today than when you were alone with one employee?
I much prefer the life I have now. I'll tell you why, and you would be the same. I get more enjoyment seeing my boys do well. I get more enjoyment, like Mark. Mark had no market share in Blacktown. Mark was doing 150, 170K in GCI. Mark did 1.1 million last year. I look at Taylor. Taylor was writing about 300, 400, maybe 500 in his best year. Taylor's going to write $2 million this year. I look at Luke, first year agent, mate, no experience, was working as a pastor at one of the churches, at the Hillsong Church in the Hills. Mate, Luke did 785. I look at Alex Salama.
I think all how much swearing real estate agents do. You probably need him here to confess every day.
Yeah, I tell you, we need the holy water as you walk in. We need a cross in here. But man, as I said, I get more enjoyment seeing them do well. My life has changed because I'm more of a mentor now. Yeah. And I've always been of the mentality, as a leader, I have to lead from the front. And that's my best leadership method. There's a lot of owners that sit back behind the desk and tell people what to do. I'd rather show you how to do it.
You lead by example.
Man, look at this. In April, man, shit market, we still sold 41 unconditionally. $1 million in commission.
Single office.
Single office.
Not
Last month before that, we did 58. So you think about it, we're a small office, man. Go out there, we're like sardines. You can't move. We don't have any more desks than anyone else. Our receptionists, they're out there at the moment because we don't have any space. But man, as I said, I lead from the front. I list 30 properties every month myself. I sell unconditionally 25. I write over $600,000 GCI every single month. I support the boys. Obviously, when leads come in, I can't take them all. I pass them on to the boys. But I just encourage them to be better. You know, if one of them goes home at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, I say to them, guys, if you want to be a $400,000 agent, you walk out, pat you on the back. But if you want to sit here and sit at the table with my friends like Tom and Emil and all our good people in our circle, you've got to earn your seat at the table.
Nobody gets a free seat.
There's no free seat. Not
even at dinner table. I'll tell you interesting. My nephew is 9 years old.
Yep.
He didn't want to go to school.
Sounds like me.
I went and I picked him up. I said, you're going to work with Uncle.
Yep.
You don't go to school, you got to earn your feet, buddy. 9 years old. He was
Yep.
suki for 2 minutes. After that, I'll show you a video later.
Yep.
I took him to one of our developments, and I mean, sweeping floors there, 9 years old.
Wow.
You gotta earn your seat at the table.
Man.
And he always says, Uncle, one day I'm gonna have all of your cars and stuff. Yep, buddy, earn it.
Earn it, 100%. And
Earn it.
100%. And I feel like, as you said, man, yesterday, before I went to a bigger market appraisal, Quakers Hill, big appraisal, 100% selling, up against 4 agents. As soon as I was about to get up, my nose, boom, blood everywhere. I had a white shirt covered in blood. I have Sophie there holding my back with an ice pack. My nose is pissing blood. And Sophie goes, what's wrong? And I said to her, I said, this is just my body's reaction. It's not liking the hours I'm doing. And I said, but you know what? I'm going to have a drink. I'm going to have a whole bottle of water. I said, I'm going to have an ice pack in the car, tape it to my neck. And I said, I'm going to this appraisal. It's 3.025%, signed it up, hits the market on Friday. But people would have gone home like a pussy. I ain't no pussy. I go every day, I show up, dead, rain, shine, I'm there.
You know, I always say, I've never taken a sick day in my life.
Neither.
I had COVID twice.
Yep.
I won't say it on camera that I went to work the entire time. I never taken a sick day. Because one thing that I always say to all my employees, if you take a sick day and come to work healthy tomorrow, you will never fucking sick at the first.
100%.
You know, because if you're sick today, tomorrow you come half dead still, buddy. Otherwise, get back to fucking work.
A lot of people, this is the thing with anyone in life, everyone is chasing being a 10 every day. But they go from a 10 to a fucking 2, to an 8, to a 3, to a 10, to a 1. I'm consistently a fucking 8. I'm good. Sometimes I'm not 100%, but I'm never shit. I'm always an 8 every day. You get me on a good day, bad day, I'm always the same. My energy's high. My buyers are there. My process is there. I'm sharp. If you put me out of work for one day, I'm doing listing appointments 6 to 7 a day, I wouldn't be able to say the lines as confidently. I wouldn't be able to have the eye contact, the movement, the tonality up and down. People don't understand that. You've got to be always, when you're off, you're dead. You've got to be always on and moving. And as I said, for me, I just don't want to stop because I've got this great train of momentum. And I remember, I'll tell you a story. My old principal, I won't name names, he said to me once,
it doesn't exist anyway.
Doesn't exist. Yeah, exactly. R.I.P. Brother, one day, imagine this. Let's say one of your sales agents, you're his boss. He writes 150K in a no-name office in a month. Great month, 150K. Fucking hell. Any agent would take that, correct?
Sometimes we would take that. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
He looked at me dead in the eyes and he said, do you realize that this was a fluke? And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, you're just the flavor of the month. He knows, you know how sometimes there's specials and there's, the flavor of the month and then it just dies off? He goes, that's you. He looked at me dead in the eyes and said, you're the flavor of the month. And I remember I was with Panal, he worked with me at the time, and I said, Panal, how fucking dare he say this to me? And I said, I already have motivation like this, but my motivation has gone 100% through the roof because I will never have anyone say to me, you were just good 1 month and then shit. And ever since then, I've never, you'll know a statistic, in the last 42 months in real estate, what's that, fucking over 4 years, I've never listed under 25 houses in 1 month. Every month, January, February, COVID, over 25 every month since that day.
But think about it. Every small thing that happened to you in your life made you who you are today.
Without a doubt.
I always say, I can, maybe because I'm a little bit old, I can see things from a different perspective. Even when you got fired, today you're looking at it as a great thing.
The best.
At that minute, when he said to you, Josh, get out of my office, leave your phone, the computer, it's not a nice feeling. You're human, right?
Yes.
But looking at it, everything happens for a reason. Him telling you your flavor for the month, now you're telling him, I'm flavor every fucking month.
I mean, I am the fucking flavor.
I am the fucking flavor. I am the flavor, which is a big difference. So all of those things, when somebody says you can't do something, I mean, one of the favorite people, that I love watching is Dana White, Just fucking say that again.
What a guy.
Say that again. Do you know what I mean? So, Josh, we're going to have about another 10 quick questions for you.
Absolutely. I love
so you can answer them on your own. I'm going to read them. But besides the questions, I just fucking, I love you, Josh.
I love you too.
This sounds emotional like two guys, but you're a good human.
Man, you know what? You attract the people and you become around people that you're similar with. And as I said, man, we've got similar values, great young teams, and despite age, like people always say, you're so young, Josh, you're so fucking young.
No, you're not young.
I'm
You're 150 years old.
I'll tell you, I said this to Tom today.
Because you have so much experience in your life, you're
Man.
not your age. Normal people have a job 9 to 5.
Yes.
They might do 1, 2 tasks, they might
Yes.
speak to 3, 4 people, they don't have any stress, they don't employ people. What do you experience in a single day? Most
No.
people don't do in 2 years.
People do.
So your age is...
Man, people do 30 sales a year and they make okay money. I do 30 sales a fucking month, and I've done that for the last 3 years, and in my career sold over 2,000 houses. So people don't understand my career and my knowledge in the industry is more than anyone, because I'm doing it more, I'm meeting more people. But as you were saying before, like what happens to you in life shapes who you are. I'll share something with you. I don't really tell anyone this. When I was 17 years of age, right? 17 years of age, I had a flu. And I went to my mum and I said, Mum, I've got this lump on my neck. I said, and she goes, we should check it out. My auntie's a radiologist. So I went into the hospital and she did like the radio test. And she said, I swear to God, I remember they told my mum first. They said, we found a spot on his neck and all over his body. And my mum, in another room, my mum never screams, screaming her head off. How can this happen? No. They told my mum it was a 99.99% chance I had lymphatic cancer throughout my whole body. At 17 years of age, I swear to God. And I remember I said I hadn't even finished the HSC. I only did 2 exams for the HSC because I was on medical leave. I was literally, for two to 3 weeks, people said to me that I literally had cancer throughout my body. I remember my mum was crying every day. My mum said that, my son was going to die. Like there was a high chance I was going to die. And I remember I said to my mum, I said, Mum, I'm 17 years of age, but I feel like I've lived. And she goes, how could you have lived at 17? I said, what I've been through with you and my family. And I said, I'm okay to die, Mum. I said, I've had a good 17 years. Fast forward 2 weeks later after hearing the diagnosis, it mimicked every symptom of lymphatic cancer, the worst stage you could ever see, at 17 years of age. And I had accepted I was going to die. Mate, 17, all over my body. And then I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to try and fight this. I was on the way to chemotherapy, and then before you do chemotherapy, you've got to go to the sperm bank. So they said if you do survive and you ever want to have kids, you've got to go to the sperm bank and you've got to save your sperm. 17-year-old kid, fucking hell. I was preparing myself, to get a cup and fucking... a bit awkward with my
That's
fucking...
unbelievable, I actually don't know this.
With my mum there, right? And I'm on the way to the hospital to get the sperm bank and chemotherapy. And then we got a call from the doctor and he goes, Josh, urgently, he goes, come to my hospital, urgently. I'm thinking, fuck, it's got worse. Like, this is fucking it. And then I remember I was there and the doctor said, you're the luckiest guy in the world. I said, what do you mean? He goes, the symptoms which you had of lymphatic cancer throughout your body, the tests, we've phoned people in America, everyone said it's 100% positive. I had 50 blood tests a day. They go, it's mimicked the signs of glandular fever. I said, what do you mean? He goes, Josh, he goes, you got glandular fever? He goes, don't go to the sperm bank, don't do chemotherapy. He goes, you've got a second chance at life. He goes, these symptoms, it's never glandular fever, but this specific protein was glandular fever. And I remember I sat there and I remember I wrote a will. I went to the solicitor, I wrote a will.
I hope you fucking put me in your will today.
Brother,
one of the cars is mine, okay?
Take the Bentley, brother. I remember I wrote a will. I had fucking $10,000 to my name. I had a Lancer that I owned for $8,000. And I remember my mum and everyone said my son is going to die before he even got to 18. And then everything in life, I think back to that moment subconsciously, that nothing can break me. They told me I was going to fucking die, and I accepted it at 17. I'm now 28 years of age, fit as hell.
Give it to me.
Give it to me. I had the worst diagnosis anyone could hear at 17. I never met my wife. I never had a kid, which I'm expecting now. I would have never owned the business, but I feel like I had a second chance at that point. And here I am, I take every day.
Now you're giving a life to somebody else.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you one thing that is really interesting. I always say, Tom Panos,
yes,
mutual friend, would quite often say, bullet that's going to kill you is going to be fired.
Yeah.
Money in life is not everything, right?
No.
But we don't want our families to stress.
No, exactly.
I said to all my employees, to specifically agents because they have ability to earn a lot. I always say to them, ones that have 2 kids, I always say, if you die today,
yep,
will your wife and your 2 sons be okay?
Yep.
If you die today, are they going to have money for food in schools every day? Are they going to go to good schools? If is wife going to be stressed about the mortgage?
Correct.
Or anything that she's got,
Yep.
How would they live?
Yep.
If you're gonna be stressful from heaven or hell, wherever the fuck you are,
Yep.
if you're gonna be stressed, well, do fucking something about it tomorrow.
100%.
Work fucking harder.
100%.
If I died 15 years ago, I would be angry with myself, looking people that I love from up there, because
Yes.
I would probably leave them in the not nice place.
Correct.
Not that I want to die, not that I want families to be emotionally suffering.
Yes.
But if I fucking die,
Yep.
at least they don't have to stress
100.
mom and dad. I mean, you know, bad thing would be to lose a son or brother or whatever. But
Yes.
they're gonna be okay. They don't
Yes.
have to stress in any way. At least that I can help.
Financially, my friend, and that's why I do it as well. I look at my business and I think to myself, if I was to go down today, I've still got all my sales agents that are loyal, like brothers and like blood. They would still support the business. None of them would leave. I look at my mortgages, I look at all my assets that I've acquired over the years.
If everything was solved, family will be okay.
My family would be fine. And that makes me sleep well at night.
And I tell you what's even bigger. We don't want you to go for another 100 fucking years.
Yes,
But one day you will die.
for sure.
And not many people, when they do die, leave a legacy.
Correct.
No person, specifically in our industry, there's no person that exists unless they're fucking so shit
Yep.
that they don't know your name.
Okay, exactly.
Now, the good thing about your name, people love you,
Yep.
respect you, and competitors hate you.
My guts,
And that's fucking beautiful.
the best.
You're here.
I'm living rent free.
We're gonna hit you with the questions. In the meantime, thank you, Josh.